students to S.E.A time. My name is Miss Ashrina Ali, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about developing your characters in your story. But before we get started, be sure to look at the ministry's website, learn.moe.gov.tt, for more information about today's session. As previously stated, we are going to develop the characters in your story. Now I want you to take a minute and think about your favorite characters in your storybook, maybe on television, or even your favorite cartoon. Now your characters are very, very important in your stories. Now before we go into character development, let's review the elements of a story. Setting indicates the time, place, and environment of the story. Point to note, your setting can change at any point in your story. For example, at the beginning of your story, you might be in a dark cave, and at the end, you might be on the beach. Next, we have our characters, who are the people, the things, and even the animals in your story. Then we have the plot. In your plot, you will have the introduction, the rise in action, the conflict, the climax, the falling action, the resolution or conclusion. Now relax. For S.E.A, you do not need to have so many parts in your plot. Next, we have the point of view. This is a view in which the story is written. This can be the view of a child, an adult, or even an animal. So let's review. What are the elements of a story? The elements are setting, characters, plot, point of view. Very good. Developing characters in a story through dialogue. How do you think that we can develop our characters in your story? There are several ways in which we can do that. Firstly, we can develop our characters through description, action, thoughts. Now we are going to focus on dialogue. Just like real people, your characters speak. The role of dialogue is to invoke the feeling, mood, thoughts, and behaviors of your characters. Now your dialogue tells you what is happening in the story. It brings your character alive. It grabs the attention of your reader so that they won't be confused as to what is going on in your story. Now dialogue also shows how your characters relate with each other and shows us how they use their tone of voice, which provides useful information to us, the reader. Now, key points to note, my students. Dialogue helps you, my students, helps you build your character. Dialogue helps us, the reader, understand your character. I'm going to say it again. Dialogue helps you, the students, build your character. And it helps us, the reader, understand your character. It is important not to overuse dialogue in your story. Let's look at this short extract. Read along with me. Mommy yelled loudly, "Brian, get up now! Get ready for school or you will miss the bus. I am not taking you to school again today." What does this direct speech reveal about Mommy? Mommy is a strict parent. She's authoritative and she's trying to teach her son some responsibility. The direct speech helps us to understand a bit of Mommy's personality. Here's another example. Read with me, students. King Gabriel stood up and shouted, "You lazy servants, Get me my dinner at once. I'm hungry. What does the direct speech reveal about King Gabriel's character? The king is authoritative, he seems a bit impatient, and he has a poor opinion of his servants. The direct speech helps us to understand that King Gabriel is both impatient and very disrespectful, won't you say? Now it's time for us to review. How do we develop characters in the story again? We develop our characters through dialogue or speech, physical description, actions, and private or internal thoughts. So my dear students, how does dialogue help in developing a character? Dialogue helps us develop an impression or gives us an impression of your character. Now that brings us to the end of lesson 1. Stay tuned for lesson 2 as we explore developing characters in a story through physical description. Physical description of a character is similar to the appearance of the character. It gives you an interpretation or an idea as to what your character looks like. So my dear students, we can use figurative language to present your character in an imaginative way. Let's look at the example. Her thin, uptight mouth was a latch on a door, poised to shut us any sign of trouble and stay that way. One example of figurative speech used here is a metaphor. A latch on a door is considered a metaphor. Let's look at this description. Two of the boys wore glasses. Curiously enough, the same kind. Tiny, old-fashioned, with round steel rims. The larger of the two, and he was quite large, were over 6 feet, was dark-haired with a square jaw and coarse, pale skin. He might have been almost handsome had his features been less set, or his eyes behind the glasses less expressionless and blank. Now here we are seeing a description through facial recognition. We're going to describe action that reveals physical characteristics. As we've been talking, she pulled her hair into a high, loose bun with shorter pieces of hair falling around her face. We can also describe the physical features such as your dimples, wrinkles, freckles. You can describe a character's clothing, accessories, the way they carry about themselves or move. And remember that a little description goes a long way. Judy's brown eyes sparkled from the rays of the sunlight. Her long locks of brown hair waved with the motion of the wind. She busily packed the uneaten food back into the picnic basket and signaled with a slight smile and a nod that she was ready to go. She got up, and her slender physique became a shadow in front of the trees. What do you learn about her, Judy, about her physical description? I got a clear visual image of what she looks like. I can infer about her personality, and for me, Judy's character came alive. Let's look at this example. Big Bobo was huge in all places. At no time you would see his hands free of food. His clothes sat on him like a bed sheet, and his face was rosy red and round. He was grotesque to look at, with all the crumbs sitting around his cheeks. Sometimes I thought he looked like a clown. Note the unusual name of the character. Here, the physical description made of Bobo character comes alive. We are able to create that mental picture based on the description given of him. Now let's review. How do physical descriptions help in developing a character? Physical descriptions help us create mental pictures, and it helps the character to come alive. That, my students, was the end of lesson 2. Stay tuned for lesson 3, where we would discuss developing characters through action. Welcome back, students, to lesson 3, where we are going to discuss developing characters through action. Action refers to what your character does in response to other characters, what he or she does in order to get others to respond, and your action creates conflict in your story, which makes it more interesting. Create action in your story to reveal things about your character. Here we are talking about character traits, show relationship with other characters, and your action again creates conflict. Without any action in your story is not going to be quite that interesting. Let's look at this example. Larry was late for work again. He would definitely have to rush to get to his meeting. As he approached the red traffic light, he continued looking at his watch. On looking up, he noticed a group of school children waiting to cross the street. They were holding hands nervously while staring at the lights. Larry quickly pulled his car to the side and ran to assist the children in crossing the street. What do you learn about Larry from his action? Let's see. Larry is kind-hearted, he's helpful, and he wanted to help the children cross safely. Let's look at this example again. Jane sat on her bed and looked at the pictures on the wall as if it was the first time she had been in that room. She breathed in slowly and sighed. Soon her eyes landed on her treasure box. She lifted the lid and her eyes welled with tears as the soft music triggered memories of her mother. From this piece, we are seeing Jane's feeling of sadness is presented through her action. Now, my students, it's time to review what we have just covered. How does action help in developing a character? Action reveals character. It helps us understand relationships between characters. It helps the characters to come alive. And it helps to create the conflict which makes your story more interesting. So, my dear students, that brings us to the end of lesson 3. Be sure to join us for lesson 4 as we discuss developing characters through thoughts. Welcome back, students, to lesson 4. Here we are going to develop characters through internal thoughts. A character's private thoughts This allows us, the reader, to see the character's true feelings, opinions, and emotions. How does private internal thoughts help in a story? A main character may say something, but could be thinking something entirely different. Think about yourself, my students. Think about when you smile and you have that mischievous thought in your mind. You might be smiling because you're happy, but you have that wicked intention. Here, his action might be a forced smile, but thoughts might reveal his silent anger or offense. His true reaction is revealed in thoughts, not action, and because the reader knows those thoughts, this helps the reader to connect with the character. Let's look at this piece. Janice sat on her porch in despair. As she swung slowly on her swing, she realized that she could not be friends with Anu anymore. Her eyes watered thinking about the great times they had together. This is Janice's private thoughts. It could have been reflected differently by use of the following lines. I can't believe she did not listen to me. It is like she doesn't even care. Janice's mind raced while she sat on her porch swing. You can describe what is in your character's mind so your reader better understands your character. What do we learn about Janice? She appears to value friendship, so she is sad about the fact that she has to end a long-standing friendship with Anu. Janice's internal thoughts help to reveal her character. So, my dear students, let's review. How do private thoughts help to reveal character? A character's private thoughts allow the reader to know about the emotions the characters experience, the character's personality, the character's thoughts, and the character's feelings about other characters in the story. So, in summary, characters in a story can be developed through dialogue or speech, physical description, action, or private thoughts. Now let's put all what we have just learned together. Read with me. The Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfeiffer. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. The other fishes were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. Come on, Rainbow Fish, they would call. Come and play with us. But Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. One day, a little blue fish followed him. Rainbow Fish, he called, wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful and you have so many. You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are? Cried Rainbow Fish. Get away from me. Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset, he told all his friends what had happened. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the rainbow fish. They turned away when he swam by. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them. Now, he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day, he poured out his troubles to the starfish. I am really beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me? I can't answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you. The rainbow fish found the cave. It was very dark inside and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, two eyes caught in their glare and the octopus emerged from the darkness. I have been waiting for you, said the octopus with a deep voice. The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy. I can't, the rainbow fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. Give away my scales? My beautiful shining scales? Never! How could I ever be happy without them? Suddenly, he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. The rainbow fish waved. Only one very, very small shimmering scale, he thought. Well, maybe I won't miss just one. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much. The little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over rainbow fish. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scales flashing, so it didn't take long before rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right. The more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possession had been given away, yet he was very happy. Come on, rainbow fish, they called. Come on and play with us. Here I come, said the rainbow fish, and happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. So, my dear students, we're going to look at the examples of dialogue, physical description, action, and thought in this passage. Firstly, at the start, the character, Rainbow Fish, through his speech, is revealed as selfish. When he said, "You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are?" cried Rainbow Fish. "Get away from me. I can't." Those are examples of speech or dialogue used in the passage. Another example, but after engaging in some reflection, "I am really beautiful. Why doesn't anyone like me?" He was able to change his personality and share his beautiful skills with other fishes. He was then able to have what he desired most, friends. Through the use of dialogue, Rainbow Fish's character was revealed and later his personality was fully seen. Physical description. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue, green, and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. The description makes him come alive to the reader. His appearance and arrogant personality is developed through physical description and action. Action. Rainbow Fish's action caused the conflict in the story, but the rainbow fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. His arrogant action revealed his character and resulted in him having no friends at the start of the story. It was only when his action changed he was able to make friends. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. And the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. His action here revealed his personality in the story. It also influenced the relationships he developed with the other fishes, private or internal thoughts. Through Rainbow's Fish private internal thoughts in the story, what good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. His emotions and feelings are revealed. That is, his lonely feeling is only revealed through private internal thoughts. Additionally, his arrogant and selfish personality is also revealed through his private internal thoughts. Give away my scales? My beautiful shining scales? Never! How could I ever be happy without them? So my dear students, this brings us to the end of lesson 4. Let's summarize what we did. Characters in a story can be developed through dialogue or speech, physical descriptions, action, and private thoughts. Now that brings us to the end of our session today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I hope you have fun revealing your characters in your story. See you soon.